Do we got it? Do we got it? Alright, y'all. We back with the July. Wait a minute, I'm trying to set this up. Just a tad bit more. We back with the July. I'm trying to. Wait a minute. I got my phone plugged up on the charger. So there we go. We back with the July readings. We're gonna start this thing off with Scorpio. We're gonna try a new spread. It say a new what's that is? It say a new romantic cycle has began. So it could be some balance in the sense of a relationship or just a form of love, recommitting to someone or something. Wait a minute, that's two. Emotions are running high. A time to give rather than take. That is Moon and Virgo. I'm going to clarify with the wild unknown. We just gonna see. Let me get. Oh, that's what came out. I'm sick and tired of this. Devil. Capricorn energy, your heart moon, your hard work is paying off. And wait a minute. Expect the powerful change. So we're finna see what's going on. Bottom of the deck, you got to step out of your comfort zone. I may have to move this light over just a little bit because it's messing up my thing. All right. Can you feel it? All right. Shit, I ain't even shuffle these motherfuckers. My bad, guys. I did before on camera. I was shuffling over the case maybe. Then I paused. Pre-shuffling before. But, like I said, we're going to see what's coming for the month of July. Cycles and situations that we may have to deal with. But we're going to start off with this new moon Libra, with this new romantic cycle. This one right here first. We're going to find out what's that all about. Is it restoration? Is it love? Is it a sense of balance? You know? Romantically on dates, treating yourself or taking someone out. We're going to see what it is. Could be that sense of hard time. But there's just a lot of things going on. Virgo, Cap, new moon, super moon, like max speed. So we're going to see what's going on about this new moon. Ooh, I forgot the damn thing. I got earphones in my ears, so if you heard this, sorry. So let's see. Coming for the month of July. Anything else want to come out for this card? Got Scorpio energy within itself. It's another one that's here. Wait a minute. Ooh, there we go. Bottom of the deck, you got Daughter of Cups. Somebody could be a little bit sensitive. Feeling a little bit sensitive though, because you got Seven of Swords, you got Three of Pentacles, and you got Scorpio energy in reverse. With this cycle you hear me say that's coming in, this is about the fox energy, where you hear me say being swiftly crafty, the sneakiness of being out front of the open of certain things that you want, how you may have been working against yourself for situations for as you, like self-sabotaging traits, or just feeling depleted or drained. Like some of you may be operating in a sense of your shadow, where you hear me say being repulsive towards certain lovers, recoiling them with the experience of love, or just you with self, where you hear me say starting over and needing some sense of newness, of freshness, or ideas of situations on life. You got Ace of Wands, that may be travel or new ideas or growthing process. You have the World and you have the Star. So these two you hear me say for is this incoming for this month. It could be travel or restoration period. That's what it kind of just gives me though. Like you finally seeing blossoming, like planting a sense of a flower, and it's finally like over time, like knowing a sense of inner worth. That's what it kind of gives me though, with the World being reversed, with a lot of people not seeing. It just could be you, because you got Hermit, the Moon, and the Five of Wands. That's why I said within Shell, inward, the Moon, Pisces, and the Five of Wands. That's five? Yeah, that's the Five of Wands. My bad, I had to count. I don't know Roman numerals. But yeah, that's what it kind of gives me though for that cycle within itself, though, like going inward, a sense of self-love, retreating, or whatever the case may be, knowing a sense of inner worth. You may be trying a new hair color, getting some new style, new shoes, new something, in a sense of doing something different for a sense of excitement, especially with this moon and the five of wands. So you may be trying and like different things, being all over the place. Like you hear me say, this could be dating life or romantic prospects or whatever the case may be, or just trying to get some sense of excitement in your life. For it's me, you hear me say, this is a year of fire energy. Doing more, because I know it's water signs. We could get stuck when we get in the Daughter of Cups energy, so that's where we could be easily offended or hurt and not expressing those emotions. So let's go over here to these emotions are running high for the super moon. They came across, so we're gonna leave it as that. I said that though. This kind of gives me like shadow. Like for the people who into that, it gives me like shadow work. Light and dark. Coexisting. Those type of things. That's what it kind of gives me though. Shadow work. The Empress. Yep. This is shadow. That's why I said it may be just you seeing the newness, refreshness, restoring, and a sense of light, like balancing what black and white means in this moment, or a sense of color, situations that may bring joy and situations that may bring pain. That's where it is right there, that sense of balance. So let's go for the month of July. Wheel of Fortune. If you look at the Wheel of Fortune, you see the moon. I mean, you see the, what's that? You see an owl. And the owl could be an apex creature, which could be carnal, where you hear me say it sits above and it can wait on its prey in an instance where it's like being upside down in those type of moments. So you hear me say if it's not on top, it doesn't see the moon, it could be a nocturnal animal. So that's where you hear me say operating in the sense of the shadow. For what's an owl, you could be hiding a sense of pain, troublesome situations. You have the Seven of Pentacles come out cross. So there could be when it comes to emotions, I ain't gonna say half-ass, not in the sense of love or with you or just for its work, but it's making you not want to go into certain experiences, especially with the Justice and the Six of Swords here. Oh shit, you can't, wait a minute. Especially with the Justice and the Six of Swords though. Like it's kind of like needing some sense of seeing things for what they are, like black and white, you know. It just kind of gives me like this pick a side. That's what it kind of is. It's fluctuating type energy, especially with the Six of Swords upright, like moving towards the side of the rainbow. Because you see how it went from dark, and it didn't go just to light, but it went to a space of happiness. So that's maybe what you may be finding in a sense of emotional aspects. You got Son of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, and you have the Fool. That's why I said when it comes to learning, communication, speaking wise, work, receiving a sense of, my bad, my nose is receiving a sense of, it just gives me like assistance at the same time, but going things about things independently, being emotionally driven. I did a spread about that today, like how your emotions can be, like being emotionally driven in most cases is cool when you just so caught up in your emotions, but when you're not paying attention and you let it drive you to a certain space, you could be, what's the word I'm looking for? You could be unhappy with the situations and circumstances. Because you hear me say, this is the Fool energy, all about taking risk or whatever the case may be, flying from the coop. Look at the baby bird ready to just leave the nest. It could be a sense of fear or just excitement or newness or just a rush, a thrill. So that's why I said this moment is going to be, this season is going to be communicating, not communicating, but just being in a sense of honesty with transgressions. That's what it kind of gives me though when emotions running high. So I would just say watch what drains you, watch what aggravates you in this moment or whatever the case may be. You got, it's rather a time to give than receive. So it could be, you hear me say, for the love aspects, you hear me say, especially being Scorpio's energy, how we just be closed off in that sense. It's a Virgo energy. Virgos have a servitude attitude. So this moment, if you have been with you just a little bit selfish or just not wanting to share you with people in the hermit energy, shit, I would say spread the love or focus on growing that love for certain people or certain things, whether it's pentacles, whether it's finances, going into the businesses, whether it's nouns, whether it's things that you know in that moment. And not saying it from a selfish place, like give to receive, but it's more like what you can see flourish. That's what I'm trying to say. Dot of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So over here, ooh, you got, ooh, excuse me, Ace of Pentacles. You got 8 of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles reverse. So that's all about in this season of when you hear me say whether giving to receive, it's kind of like in this moment withholding certain things from certain people or situations, or spending so much time in a situation. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a financial aspect. It could be things that require a lot of you, where it needs room, and it doesn't have to be giving towards other people, but it could be given to yourself and noticing like, hey, well, I'm not receiving. So in this area, I'm not giving myself this sense of intimacy for it's a romantic cycle. It doesn't have to be a sense of love. It could be you. So it doesn't always have to be in a sense of, oh my God, I'm looking for a lover. This is just, no, it's about all the things that you lack. Take it from other parts, that majority, if it's work, seeing how you could put this into you. That's what I said. Put that energy into you. You got the Chariot. Reverse in the Empress. That's what's just there. Just like at a slow speed. Slowing down. I don't know why I keep getting this though. Like slowing down. Like this is the Empress though. She has a lot to give in spaces or areas. This is a tree. If you see a big tree or you ever climbed a tree in your life, you really just at one point when you're trying to climb a tree, you're just trying to get up there to sit. Like in a moment to find a stable place. Just going from side to side. As a human being, you really can't do that because some limbs are weak. So it's all about giving and receiving in this moment for as you, like what areas you may lack in or what you need to restore for as a sense of wholeness. To see this sense of colorfulness. All right. You got the Hierophant, the Sun, and the Strength. Shit. I don't know about y'all, but I keep saying I'm going to go back to school. I keep saying that. It could be school. It could be sense. It could be some new beginning. I know this COVID has slowed down a lot of people to where they feel like, oh my God, I can't do nothing. This is here. This is blocking me. Then too, it could be going outside though, especially if you're a person where you've been feeling like dark, heavy, drained, depleted. Like you may need some sense of resources. Like you really do. You could be a sense of light and color, like you hear me say, for it's that sense of sun. So you may need that to feel back into you, to feel a sense of strength. The lion is roaring. So that's what it kind of gives me though. So that energy that you may feel where it's wasteless and useless in this moment, that's where it's probably calling you to, like, okay, well, you need a sense of this enlightenment. This tree needs a sense of nourishment. I don't think you know this, so it needs a sense of aha. Like a burst of lightning, creativity, learning, skillmanship. Shit. Again, your hard work is paying off. Capricorn energy. Son of Pentacles. Shit. Oh, that's why I said this got something to do with work. Somebody working too hard or working too much or interacting with earthly beings. Shit. I dropped all the goddamn cards and it was a lot. 9 of Swords. That's why I said, somebody been working too much. Doing too much. In an aspect, we dropped 4 Cups. 5 of Cups, reverse. 4 Cups, reverse. 4 Swords, reverse. And the Mother of Pentacles reverse. That's why I said somebody has been doing a lot. Either this is you've been working too much, spending too much time, obsessed with other things that has not been working for you. It's kind of like it just gives me like somebody ain't, like you ain't been It's like paying attention to self in the month of July, or certain things that you need, or sacrificing your sense of innocence, the purity of things that you like, that you find joy in. Like, it's just like getting mad and going through a sense of destructive type period and needing to repair as a Scorpio type energy, where it goes into dealing with the shadow of the rebirthing aspects of the masochist type energy. That's what it kind of gives me, though. So it's kind of like, I'm gonna avoid this so I can put myself into this. So that's what kind of gives me, though, focusing on the wrong things or whatever the case may be, and not being honest about the sense of this. It could be, though, like watching what you drink or what you partake in. Just honestly, like, watch where you eat at. I don't know where the fuck they came from. Just watch where you eat at in most cases, or situations, or people, or you probably need to eat, or whatever the case may be, in a sense of hydration. Because look at that rat upright. Though I said, look at that rat just walking across there, though. So that's why I said, watch what you eat, drink in this moment, especially there. Or just watch that rat-like type spirit. Because, you know, rats, they feast. So it could be people or situation that you hear me say, entertaining emotionally, like leaving little droppings here and there for what's people. Where I had put in my blog post about that grifter energy, that sneaky energy, being able to crawl into that space or whatever the case may be, not knowing about those minor annoyances or whatever the case may be. But I do like the Four of Swords being reversed, because it's not in a position to where it's kind of like, okay, you know, for is this, like this energy where you hear me say, like, being in a sacrificial position, like going against a sense of purity. So that's what I like that, though. I can't say I like that. Towards your hard work paying off. But you do got Son of Pentacles, you got the Ten of Swords, and the Two of Swords. You got Son of Pentacles reversed, but the Ten of Swords upright, and the Two of Pentacles. That's why I say it's kind of like starting to work, ignite. 2 and 2, like you hear me say, it's just like this 2 and 2 energy that you hear me say. You may be partnering up for its teamwork, or maybe having to, or whatever the case may be, ask for some sort of assistance or needing that in that moment. But this Ten of Swords energy, I'm telling you, I don't like it. It gets me overkill, especially with this Ten of Pentacles. It's not thinking, it's for its work matters. It just gets me financially driven. It really do, though. Financially driven, though. Financially driven and needing a sense of a break. You got Ten of Wands, the Mother of Cups, and you got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 3. Yeah, this is the Ten of Pentacles, my bad. Is that the Ten of Pentacles? Wait a minute. Nah, this was the Ten of Pentacles. I had that wrong. Ooh. Sorry, I told you I can't count. 3, 3, 3. Yeah, this is the Nine of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles, yeah, it's needing that break from a sense of family. Yeah, support, job. Still same thing, though. I'm sorry. That was me. I'll go back and clarify it at the end. Going over it. But you got Ten of Wands reversed. You got the Mother of Cups. And you got the Nine of Pentacles, though. Like, this is a sense of, like, working hard to achieve something at one point, where you hear me say, where maybe, like, you was in a dark type space, or the unknown. Like, things wasn't shed a light to you. Or maybe the confusion of certain things, of you working or taking on so much or whatever. Like, so much piled up on your plate. That's what it kind of gives me, though. It could be a mother aspect, or the mother of your child. It could just be mothering or parenting in this moment, where you hear me say needing that sense of me time. And then this is where it goes into the Nine of Pentacles. Like, especially with that hoarding type energy that you hear me say, needing to stack, needing to save, that type of energy. Like burning yourself at, burning the candle at both ends. That's what it kind of gives me, though. All right, let's see what this powerful change is about. I like that, a sense of clarity, though. I said, give me a sense of clarity, though. I like that, though. Miss Independent, that's why I love her. Why? They've been coming out lately. Y'all, why the hell it's been coming out? I like that, though. That's why I said, that's clarity. I like that. Yes. Daughter Cup still on the bottom of the deck. That's why I said this here I like it in this deck because Daughter of Cups, she can be considered to be naive, but she's really not naive. In the moment, if you teach her, she's willing to learn. But at any given moment, for a certain information, if it's not given in the sense of light, if it's prayed or whatever the case may be on her, she can retreat back. Like, you hear me say, she could retreat back, and that could be very dangerous. You hear me say, for it's this Fox energy, the Scorpio energy, the Ten of Swords, where you hear me say that malicious intent, going into a space of self-sabotaging. So that's why I like, in the words of my son, read the room. Like, sometimes we have to learn how to read the room within ourselves or just individuals around us. All right, okay, let's see what this powerful change is. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 of Cups reversed. So I like this though. It's just one focus up. Like, there may be all the tries that you probably have took for as emotional or situations. Like, you hear me say, it just gives me the season where you hear me say putting you first, in a sense of figuring out certain things where you have placed lost emotions, love, time, situations, things being starting over, needing accountability. And I like how the sun is up top though, because it's kind of like, yes, I need this. Like, that's what it kind of gives me though, especially with that sun. 5 of Swords, and you got the 4 of Wands. That's why I said teamwork, partnerships, building. That's what I kind of get from building, like using a sense of resources, being smart about it, not letting the emotions lead you. Like, not letting them lead you. That's what it is. It's like being smart, the creativity, that Aquarius energy that you hear me say, like humanitarian, thinking of the work of others, or looking at how you can use, and not use in a sense like get over, but utilize them, not use to possess. Okay? So, you got 5 of Cups, the Emperor, the Temperance, and the 2 of Swords. That's why I said maybe in actions, maybe situations about you, or highlighting people. 5 of Cups, you hear me say he cannot be the most emotionally understanding person in this deck. He could be a little bit incompetent. That's what I said, especially with the Emperor energy, where you hear me say he's not as loving. Like, he can love, but he don't, like, he has to necessarily show it. Just saying that, somebody needs probably confirmation with you. That's why I said expect a powerful change. Then you got the Temperance here. It could be this, where you hear me say a sense of patience. I always think about this as being a stalk, especially with it being on fire, like heat, something that may reignite a sense of fire for you, that brings you, bestowing a sense of gift, like focusing on you. I do like the 2 of Swords though, because the 2 of Swords upright is all about forcing yourself to see the truth. Like, forcing yourself. So it may be that cosmic thing at a play where certain things you may have been noticing, or you have you've been noticing, but the Daughter of Cups, you hear me say, being emotionally driven, or feelings may be hurt, maybe retreating. It's kind of like this is what's bringing it into a focus. Last but least, over here we got 2 of Pentacles and the, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, okay. Oh shit. I had to count it. 8 of Wands and the 2 of Pentacles. That's why I said slowly going through a metamorphosis processes. We're seeing what goes in, what comes out, working together in a space of coexisting. Seeing how areas that may have been affected, because you know how when we're trying to fix things so much and perfect it in the energy, sometimes we find ourselves like overdoing it, overkill. That's why I said I like this though. I like this upright, because look at that lightning, that sense of aha. That's why I said it doesn't have to be black and white. It just could be you finding the happiness in the moment of certain things, like especially inconveniences or situations. So again, we're finna go back over and I'm finna walk out. You got new romantic cycles coming in. I told you it doesn't necessarily feel like a relationship to me, but it could be. If you're in a relationship, it could be bringing some sense of balance, peace, intimacy, understanding, sensualization, especially in Libra energy, or it could be options that's coming in, or being a little more honest. You got 7 of Swords, 3 of Pentacles, and you had the Death energy here, meaning about being honest about how coexisting and working with people, or working with parts of self, your intuition, your guide, your spirit, your being, relationship, whatever it is, like knowing how to get over the mountain hill, and not being in the sense of the Scorpio energy where you hear me say working alone or operating in a sense of shadow. Then you got Ace of Wands, you hear me say the World reversed, the Star, the Hermit, the Moon, and the 5 of Wands. Like you hear me say, this is like focusing on one thing. It could be travel, certain instances where you hear me say growing processes, seeing certain things that's about you, or a relationship, or a partner, the hermit, the moon. Like, this is here. Like, maybe things need to be put out the way, or whatever the case may be, or maybe you need to recognize that you've been doing a lot and finally seeing growth in one area on one thing. Hone in on it. Now you hear me say the next thing. You got the emotions running high, where you hear me say being emotionally driven. Then you got the Wheel of Fortune. You hear me say you had the Seven of Pentacles there. You had the Justice upright, Six of Swords, Son of Swords, the Fool, which this was the Ten of Pentacles reverse. That was my bad. But it still has something to do with job and the work and the financial aspect, or whatever the case may be, the disdain. Or you hear me say being able to move and push into a new beginning. You hear me say especially communicating about things that it is you need. You hear me say those partnerships. Think about before when you go into those damaging like traits of behavior. You hear me say half-ass communicating and not being all the way open about certain things that it is that you need in this moment. But it does give you more of a financial aspect or worrisome. Boom. All right, okay. Now you got, it's a time to give rather than take. I told you this may not be you. If you are selfish in that moment, then you may need to learn how to give. Some of y'all may be dealing with a Virgo, Aquarius, or Capricorn in this moment, or another Scorpio. But it could be that energy where you hear me say needing to receive some sense of support, because you got Eight of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles reverse, the Chariot reverse, Empress upright, Hierophant, the Sun, and the Strength. You hear me say this too. This could be about the Empress energy, where you hear me talk about the tree, the branch, ideas of certain things that you have in this moment that may need some sense of some sturdiness, the growing process, where you hear me say noticing how things are flourishing and blossoming in certain areas, where you hear me say that sense of enlightenment, learning. Or is this energy, the crow energy? Was that a crow? It kind of gives me a raven. I think that is a raven, because a raven is all about kind of like Scorpio energy, where you think about burning things down, transforming them in a better position, restorations. It could be restoring certain things, endings, new beginnings. And it's not necessarily around just death energy, but it's just that what else about ravens? It's in a positive sense, but sometimes letting go of something, especially in the Wheel of Fortune energy from emotions running high, it could be highlighted in a negative sense. So that's why I said they're figuring out what is worth your time for what's investment in businesses and projects. Boom. All right, so we got hard work paying out for us, Capricorn. Like I said, some of y'all may be messing with a Capricorn, may got Capricorn in your chart, or you may be focused on the money. Focus on the money. Your hard work is paying off. Boom. So that's why I say you got the Four of Cups, the Four of Cups, the Eight of Cups, and the Four of Swords. You hear me say check that about watching what you eat, partaking in, or whatever the case may be. Maybe for certain things, what you're doing, health-wise, reasons, spending certain times and certain things, giving just little to nothing, being emotionally accountable. You hear me say the Son of Pentacles, the Ten of Swords, Two of Wands, Mother of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles. That's why I said independently working at certain things in a sense of like going about it. It gives me overkill, especially in the money sense. You hear me say money sense, it could be a parent or another person. You hear me say toting somebody else's load. But it looks like, you hear me say that's what's paying off all your hard work. Boom. So you got to expect the powerful change. And just because this is in the month of July, that does not mean that all this will come. Now, depending on what you're working with or how you're doing or how you utilize this information, it can, but it doesn't always have to be in a timely manner. So I just want to say that. Expect the powerful change. You hear me say you had Seven of Cups. I told you I like that with the Sun on top, with the Father of Swords, and the Four. You hear me say, like needing that breath of freshness when I talk about the season of individuality, the things that you need to be able to recognize your strengths, to be like, okay, I add to this. I am a part of this versus just floating by. The emotional accountability, understanding, showing that a little bit more. You may be recognizing that. The temperance, being a little bit more patient. Tranquility, peace, fire, something enlightened, that sense of passion, seeing that sense of truth. To Pentacles energy, seeing what works and what doesn't work in this season, and the Eight of Wands. The last but least, sense of enlightenment. And I said it's not always about what's black and white. We could be finding a sense of happiness that brings about a boastful energy of the rainbow. So that's why I said don't be so emotionally led. In the Daughter of Cups energy, where you get your feelings hurt and you go into overkill, you know, the Nine of Wands, that energy, the Daughter of Swords, like being snappy, all those energies, Seven of Wands, like you hear me say, no. You know, like all those different instances, especially with this High Priestess, like, you know, that's that Scorpio energy where you find out certain things about certain people and situations and you shut down. Like, you know it's true in that matter, but you still shut down because you like, my feelings hurt. But when you know what it is that you bring to the table, especially with this Four of Wands, where it go? Where did Four of Wands is? Girl, wherever that Four of Wands with, I don't know. Wherever that Four of Wands with, that's all I gotta say. But when you know what it is that you bring to the table, you, whether it's a work environment or job environment or situation, you don't let nobody scare you out your position. So I wanted to say that though. So this is a season, you hear me say, of being honest and accountable. So that's all I got for y'all for the month of July. I hope this helped y'all out, you know. So that's why I said we can work through it. Romantic wise, emotional wise, giving to receive wise, hard work, wondering when investments and things gonna pay off, and a powerful change in those moments. And it doesn't always have to be in a monetary aspect, because sometimes some people are not looking for financial currency. Some people are looking for a shift in emotional thinking. All right. So in that moment, that's all I got for y'all. I ain't got no more. So I'm finna upload this real quick, and then boom, we keeping it pushing.